Sea turtles? Yeah, they rock. Bzzz. Hello and welcome back to Wario Land 3. On the last episode, we got the overweighted overalls, enhancing our ability to ground pound, allowing us to break not cracked blocks, which will be useful here in Sea Turtle Rocks. And we also got the plate of day and night, allowing us to make it whatever the hell time of day we want it to be. In this case, we've made it day. Not that it matters for this level, but I wanted to use the plate of night and day there, so let's go ahead and use it. Oh, and something we didn't see last episode is the ability to ground pound and knock those slimes off the roof. I did mention we'd be able to do it, but we didn't actually get to see it. What we also, I don't think I made good use of, is knocking enemies over like that. Like, I know we saw the spider get knocked down and be used as a platform, but we didn't see actually stunning enemies or making them decide to turn around the other way as a function that was in Wario Land 2, but not in 3 until now. So something nice about this little treasure, the treasure for this level, wrong words all around, is once you go through that door that you just can immediately open, that's at the beginning of the level with the overweighted overalls, is you just immediately find the green and the green, I almost said the green and green chest, like that would matter, but the green key and the green chest are just right there. And all you gotta do to get them is just interact with a small rolling encounter, or not encounter, arrangement. For some reason I keep getting those two words mixed up. Please get stunned, because I don't have to bother with you. It's funny, because this isn't a very difficult rolling arrangement at all. In fact, I'd say it's honestly pretty simple. Like, the rolling arrangement that we saw in Volcano's Base as, like, a introductory to rolling arrangements was honestly probably more difficult, if you wanted to get the musical coin, I should say. Like, normally it's not that difficult, but even, like, the basic one, you gotta just do a little bit of platforming. Like, this one, like, aside from that first jump, you gotta make over that small incline, like, that's probably the hardest part that you gotta do. It's interesting to roll through the pipes, but it's not really all that difficult, and it's not something I believe you see much in this game. There might be one other instance where they have an arrangement like that, but that also may be Wario Land 4. I'm sorry, my brain isn't that great, and I may be mixing up Wario Land 4 and Wario Land 3. Who knows? But what I do know is what we picked up was a fragment of the sun. A lot of sun-based imagery we've been seeing lately with the plate of day and night, and now this entire fragment of the entire actual sun. Holy moly, we got a piece of the sun. That's a spicy. Speaking of day and night, the desert ruins, another level that is a good show-off of day and night. Not that the Sea Turtle Rocks was particularly great at that, just we've been talking about it a lot recently. Oh, something also interesting I didn't mention, I paused the game like I would be able to show it to you. The plate of day and night, we got it from a Peaceful Village, which was kind of the first level to show off, hey, day and night makes a difference in this game, which was kind of neat. Also something neat is once you get the Great Garlic, you can destroy these barriers that close down on you. So you can come and do this like at any time you please, I believe. Just something I wanted to show off. And actually, I want to keep that guy up there, because we may need his help. I'm not 100% sure. But better to leave him up there than to just knock him off, and then we'll never know. But I do need this Hammer Robota, or I think it might just be called Hammerbot. The small ones are Robotas, but I think the big robot's just a bot. He does not have time to deal with being a Bato or Bata, and have me constantly confused which one he could potentially be. You'd just rather, you're like, yeah, I'm a bot, don't worry about it. And we may need, okay, cool, yeah, these were disguise throwing blocks. I wasn't 100% sure if it would be, so it was a good thing I left him alive, because had I killed that robot, that could have been bad. I'm trying to remember how many coins there are in our wake. I think there's 3 in this area. We've just gotten like a freebie now, so maybe there were only 2. Who knows? I think there's a 3rd one farther down. You know what, sure, I'll go ahead and take this coin. Even though we don't particularly need it, because since we're collecting all of the... Oh, he got me. That's a shame. Luckily there's a little, like, thing we can just bounce up against here until we run out of spring. Since we've been collecting the musical coins, money isn't ever really going to be an issue, even with golf, whenever golf gets to be its most expensive, which I believe the most expensive it ever gets is 50, and it'll probably transfer over to that soon. Which can mean you can end up dropping a lot of money on golf. But since we're collecting all of the musical coins, that's like 80 coins we're going to get, you know, almost every level as we go along throughout the course of the game. And here's our last musical coin. So it's like we'll never really be hurting for money on any front. So, you know, like those little musical coin, or not musical coins, the rare like color coins. like if one fell in an area that'd be a pain to get to, I wouldn't jump off because it'd be like, well, you know, if that's going to cause a, you know, a significant delay in our like level progress, like, you know, who cares? It's not that big a deal. And actually, can we break this? I wasn't sure if we could break that. We knocked the spearhead off of his perch from off the screen, which is kind of fun. Something that's also very fun is we've never come down into this area, I don't believe. I might have showed it off when we first came to the Desert Ruins. I don't remember the name of the stupid level. But we've never really explored down here. Like, if you come here during the day, this is filled with quicksand. I believe you can still, like, properly explore it. It's just kind of now a pain. And this isn't really an area I go to all that often. But we are going to need to explore it to find some coins. Because I believe there's a coin that we saw just out of sight. And I don't like to talk about things like this, but I really had to sneeze there for a second. And I thought I was going to die. Not that it was like that bad or anything, but it's just like, oh man, I have to sneeze. This is going to be bad. But luckily, it went away. But yeah, this is just kind of a neat little area you don't get to explore all that often, just because it's like, why would you go out of your way to explore like this area that's typically a punishment to go down to, especially during the day when it's filled with the quicksand and you gotta kind of deal with the slow-moving, being hampered by the quicksand, which is actually interesting now that I think about it, because I think that's a mechanic that literally only exists for this area, and I don't think there's a coin in here. Yeah, I don't think there's a coin in there. So, sorry, Donateer, but I'm going to leave you alone for now. And just breaking that one just to show off we can. And speaking of show off we can... Speaking of show off we can, break this we can, yes. Very good. I just wanted to show that we could break that. And also, yeah, this is a silk ball breakable only. I just wanted to check now that we had the Great Garlic. And I don't think that there are any musical coins just off the screen to the top. But I do believe that there's one down here. Maybe it's another case of... We can't actually get back up, so hopefully it's not a... Yeah, damn, that actually might be a... Hopefully it's not a silky ball block that we need the silkies for, and we can just use an enemy, because if we can get that Paragoon to respawn, I can knock him down here with the ground pound, and then throw him off. So let's just follow him so I don't scroll the screen and despawn the poor fella, because what I'm... No, please keep walking. I get that you want to raise it above your head, because you're a little apprehensive about someone attacking you from above, but today I need you to just hurry up. Oh, good. I was so worried that this would be a silk ball thing. I was like, shit, we're stuck down here, so that could be a problem. And I'm really hoping that there aren't any musical coins above us. Like, how many do we have? We have 5. So yes, I believe there's 2 in our next room. So as long as we find one over here, which I was able to see it just off the screen, we are good. I was so worried for just a second that I had just messed everything up. And we've had to replay this level again since I can't make this stupid jump. It'd be nice if we could, but we can't. So we're going to go ahead and fall down here. We saw the blue key, we saw a musical coin, and now we see our way to make our way up there. Even though we've come here during the night, there is light streaming through these weird windows. I don't know if these are supposed to be windows or maybe like some kind of like magic tile that produces light. I'm just going to assume windows and that it's the case of moonlight. And I skipped the musical coin because I figure we can just fall on top of it and everything will be a-okay. And then I guess we were hit with a bat on our way down. But we do not want to be Vampire Wario anymore. Vampire Wario has done his due diligence. I almost said done his diligence, but that's not correct at all. And I believe one of these should be breakable because I think we need to get to the down below, the upside down. We need to go down, and I'm not 100% sure if one of these is breakable or if this is a thing we'll see later. Yeah, I have no idea. As we can see, there is a way down there, but off the top of my head, it's not coming to me. So let's just mess around with the area and see what is up. We have the pipe that we can't go down through. We climb back here. This is the door we came through. So there is something that we can do down here. If we can't break any of... Oh, there we go. I guess either missed this one or I did a bad job landing on it. Perhaps I ground pound, like, in between the sprites and maybe, like, Wario's, like, hit... Or his hurt box on, like, his ground pound, like, just slightly missed the mark. Who knows? So, the heavy enemies, when we ground pound, we kind of like knock them off their feet a little bit, but we don't stun them. They don't bounce the same way. We can change the direction they're going, but we won't be able to knock them off little like platforms like we could like the Paragoom earlier. So we're going to have to throw that barrel up there to be able to get up here and find our last musical coin. This is our last one, right? Okay, cool. For a second I lost count and I was like, uh-oh, I really hope this is our last one. Which is nice, because now that we have the blue key, we have all our musical coins, we just gotta go find the ding-dang treasure chest and everything is good. And as we can see here, once our spring wears up, we can just go ahead and come up here, and I want to see if we... Okay, I just had to know if attacking it from the side counted, because in Wario Land 2 it doesn't. And I believe in Wario Land 4 it doesn't either, but I'm always interested by like, oh, does this work in this context? Speaking of working in this context, it looks like we're going to need our pal Vampire Wario once more. So I didn't end up doing this in the most efficient way. I apologize for that. My brain was just kind of like, oh, let's just do what's happening, I guess. Since when we hit that block, it blocked off the ladder. We had to use Vampire Wario to get up here. But it's all fine. It's all going to be okay, because we got our good friend... But it's all fine, because we got our good friend Yellow Belly? This guy has, like, a weird, like, it's either Yellow Belly or it's, like, Helios, something like that? I'm actually not 100% sure now that I know. I wish I would have looked that up before the episode. But I do know at some point he got the name Yellow Belly, and that might be his, like, Dr. Mario 64 name. Because, like I mentioned before, enemies got names from, like, the official Wario Land 3 website, but then they got renamed whenever, Dr. Mario 64, I should say, became a thing, since it has, like, an almost full cast of, like, Wario Land 3 characters. And do we just ground pound this? Yeah. This boss is so weird, because you gotta ground pound him to knock a pump out of his face, which you then ground pound to inflate him, even though it's, like, not connected to him in any way. It's very strange. This is a very strange boss with a strange name, especially when you consider that his name is potentially Yellow Belly, like he's a coward or something, and not just some weird balloon thing with like spears that inflate you. Like oh my god, wait, are those like just like Numo's like stingers that he's like ripped off and is now using as like dagger spear things? It's actually very morbid when I think about it. It's a very strange boss, and kind of reminds me a bit of like the bubble monster from Wario Land 2. For some reason, I forgot the name of Wario Land 2. You know, the prequel to this game that we play. You know, the game that was one of my first Game Boy games that I absolutely adore and love and played alongside with Pokemon Blue, but whatever. With that, we get the other fragment of the sun, thus completing the emblem of sunlight. Amazing. And also, continuing to fill in this strange mural. Just can't decipher whatever the heck that's supposed to be. And there we go. There's our complete emblem of sunlight. And what would you think the emblem of sunlight does? It obviously just, you complete it and owls decide, let's just take a little nippy nap. It's time for bed. And it also ends the eternal darkness of the eastern part of the world. So, sorry, Eternal Darkness. No sequel for you. It's over. Just give it up. Please. Just give it up for all of us. So yes, now the eastern side of the world is no longer cloaked in eternal darkness. That's what the emblem of sunlight does, baby. It returns the sun to the sky. So now we can come here and see all of these levels in weird new contexts. Is that? Did I just say like contexts? Like, that's not how words work. I don't think. Not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure either way, but context is probably not great. So yes, now we can come to these levels during the day. And when we come during the day, owls will go to bed, and we can now use them to fly around. One of my favorite mechanics from like Wario Land 2, and it works pretty much the same way. I believe the owl's a lot faster, either that or it's just been a while since I played Wario Land 2. Which, I mean, like, I LP'd it like less than a year ago at this point. And we can get 2 owls on screen! Owl madness! So owls work exactly the same as they do in Wario Land 2. The owl will just kind of continue off in a direction if you just let go of it and they bounce off walls. I don't believe they'll continue... Actually, I want to see what happens when you bounce off... okay, yeah. They will bounce off vertically as well. I wasn't sure if that was just a horizontal thing. It's very simple. There's nothing more to do than to control yourself. You can bump into a wall if you're holding the D-pad. I'm actually not going to go for that coin. I don't want to risk it, even though it's not all that terribly risky, but whatever. It's a shame you don't see the owl as much as you do in this game. The owl doesn't get a terrible amount of love in this game. This is like one of the only levels I can think that it's in. There might be another one it's in, but who am I to say? I'm the person who doesn't remember a ding-dang thing. And here's Mr. Sun. No, excuse me. Senor Sun. We have Mr. Moon and Senor Sun. We went seeing Senor Sun earlier in the game so we could show off Mr. Moon, because there's only two areas in the game they show up in. And one was the vast plain, the other one's here. Were you to, actually, you can't get here during the... I was about to say, if you come here during the night, I guess, Mr. Moon would be here, but it's impossible to get here during the night since you need an owl to get here, and owls are asleep during the, or they're awake during the night, I should say. And they won't come out to play. And we need, Senor Sun, even if we were to come here with Mr. Moon, which I don't think is possible, the moon would never be able to help us, like I have repeatedly said, and by that I mean I've said once this episode and once the last episode. But we just need to light ourselves on fire to go ahead and collect things. And I did pick up the green key. Okay, yeah. I know I just like picked it up seconds ago, but I wasn't 100% sure if I just like broke the fire blocks and then just continued onwards without picking up the dang key. But it's okay. It's okay. Let's just go ahead and find Senor Sun and have him ignite us, because I could use being lit on fire. Actually, I could use being lit on fire in the correct spot, because I've done a very bad job at this, and I should stop jumping, because you can delay how long it takes for the fire to wear out, because how the fire works in this game is strange. It's not based on a timer. I believe it's set on the amount of steps Wario takes, because you can make it last longer by repeatedly jumping. So you gotta kind of, oh, that was actually kind of perfect. You can make the transformation last a little bit longer by constantly jumping, but if you want it to wear out faster, you just want to keep running without jumping. So it's kind of an interesting little thing. You can kind of play with it there. I personally prefer how Wario Land 4 does it, but I believe that's a topic for another time. And I actually really like this green in the background. It's very, like perfectly mowed, like, lawn, or, like, it's not exactly the same, but kind of gives that, like, Green Hill Zone checkerboard vibe. But what the heck am I talking about? We got a power-up, the Jumbo Jump, which I believe were just called, like, Jump Boots previously, which it wouldn't be, like, an exploration, like, actually, I guess this isn't, like, super exploration adventure game, like Metroid or Castlevania, but it does get kind of lumped in with the Metroidvania kind of games. It wouldn't be one of those kind of games without a power-up that's literally just, you can jump better now, dog. And this is one that I've been, like, personally, like, dying for, because I hated not being able to bounce off enemies' heads and jump higher. I think that's still a thing, but we do jump higher now. As we saw, Wario was able to just clear this. Like, yeah, it works exactly the same as in Wario Land 2. Now, if we just jump normally, actually, wait, can we? Yeah, if you just jump normally, you won't make the full jump, but if you're holding up on the D-pad, or you're just coming out of your jump animation, you'll do a 3-block high jump. And I actually meant to come here during the day, because why would we ever go to the eastern part of the world at night? We've seen all the eastern places at night. We want to go to the Frigid Sea at day. We want to Frigid Sea it during the day. And I know I said I wouldn't say that anymore, but it was really good, and I hope you'll forgive me. Sincerely, me. And why can't I pick up this guy? Why won't it let me pick me? Oh, wait, can we not pick these guys up yet? I thought we could pick these guys up. Whoops, guess we can't. That's fine. Who cares? We don't need their help. Bears? Burrs? Who needs their help? Not me. I don't need it at all. I don't need a burr's help. No siree. For some reason I thought we had the ability to pick these guys up. I guess my brain was just getting confused about, spoilers, what power-ups we have. So we did actually have to come here during the day, because if you'll remember, there is a, big, like, frozen waterfall, as we can see here, that would be here during the night, and we would be unable to traverse that until we got a later power-up otherwise. So if you want to be able to do this level currently, you have to come here during the day. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for it. And also, I don't believe I mentioned it, but this is the last time we're gonna be at the Frigid Sea, so it's a good thing we were able to Frigid Sea it during the day. And I don't want to stop doing it. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, I figured, you know, we would Frigid Sea it during the day. Now I'm tired of it, so I'll stop doing it. Now that I've gotten tired of it, it's perfectly fine to stop. Whether you guys were tired of it before was of no consequence, because also, record these like a couple episodes in advance, so I'd have no way of knowing until it was too late. Oh man, that was interesting. Like when I hit him, he must have been like in the middle of his animation, or maybe the donuts fall when you knock him over. I'm actually not 100% sure. I've never seen that happen before, but it looked like he dropped the donut whenever we bumped him over, and then I ran into it. That's what it appeared to be, but maybe I just slightly interrupted the end of his throwing animation. It's kind of hard to tell, but something like that happened, and we don't need to hit the switch here because we're not here to make friends. We just want the money. Because I believe that was the last coin in the area. Hopefully, because we're getting the heck out of Dodge. Yeah, I can't believe that I forgot that we didn't have the ability to pick up heavy enemies yet. For some reason, I thought we had gotten that ability. We've just gotten so many power-ups. Like, we got a new power-up last episode and a new power-up this episode that my brain had just confused itself. So this coin, you need the jump boots to be able to jump to it, which is something slightly embarrassing. I had to do a bit of embarrassing because there's burrs. I had to do a bit of level rearranging because I had arranged the levels wrong in my notes. And previous to recording this, I realized, oh shoot, we won't be able to get that because we don't have the jump boots yet. Because I had just arranged the levels wrong, in the wrong order in my notes, even though we, obviously were able to do it. Whoops, I had almost made a scheduling snafu in my Let's Play. The greatest of sins, almost as bad as wearing white pants after labor. Like, I'm sorry to bring up something as strange as that, but that never made any sense to me. Like, white pants after Labor Day is bad? I don't even own any white pants, but that's just like the most confusing sentiment to me. Like, I want to know how that started. Like after this point in time, you can't wear this. Like, is it like a seasonal thing? Is it like I don't even know when Labor Day is off the top of my head. But hey, we've got Wario to play, so let's stop talking about Labor Day and make the labor of love that is Wario. And by that I mean take this little dang it, this ice rock back without getting got by the burrs. It's funny, we were able to do this for the level requirement when we came here, like without a hitch. But now that it's like, we're just here to kind of screw around and get coins, I'm having trouble with navigating and negotiating these burrs. And man, I love being able to jump higher. It's so nice. It's always just the nicest, most mundane power up to get. Like, sure, it's this functionally, just lock and key, like you can just make jumps that you wouldn't previously be able to make before then, but being able to jump is just so nice. Maybe it's just me, and I really appreciate, any and every, mobility power-up in any game ever. I adore mobility power-ups. So I just adore mobility power-ups. It's so much fun to just, unlock a new ability that allows you to move around in new and fun ways. Maybe it's just because most video games, moving is just a crucial, important element that just unlocking a new way to move just feels so good, and it's just so much fun to just kind of mess around with at that point, because it's like, yeah, I can move better. This is great and awesome. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a general consensus or just one of those weird, unique things, because when I said it off the top of my head, it was like, yeah, who wouldn't love getting a mobility power-up? But maybe that's just one of those weird things that's a me exclusive. I hate whenever things like that happen, whenever it's like, oh yes, this very relatable idea and feeling I have, and then people are like, well, that's just the most insane thing I've ever heard. Why would you feel that way? No one in the history of ever has ever had an emotion like that, and you are bad, and probably a cryptid of some sort. It's hard to tell. And how many coins do we have? I think we should only be... Yeah, cool. I was like, I think we should have most of them, especially since I've been in this level for about ever, but, that's only mostly due to the fact that I just kept dropping that stupid rock, that ice block? Who knows what it's supposed to be? Maybe, because I think they have rock sprites that are very similar. But they're brown, so maybe they just recolored it the light blue color, and it's like, yep, it's a... Man, that snowflake followed us far. Now it's a thing. Ice baby. I couldn't remember what ice was called. And this is interesting. These snowman blocks are different colors, and it makes me wonder if perhaps, they require different levels of, snow. If you're a certain size snowball, this one will break, but if you're, a certain size, like maybe like the darker ones require you to be a larger snowball than the lighter ones, or maybe vice versa. Who knows? It's kind of hard to tell. If I had to guess, though, I would guess that based on the fact that we hit a lighter one first, that perhaps the lighter ones require a smaller snowball than the darker ones. Not that it matters too much, because this is the only ice level in the game, so I don't believe we'll be seeing, like, Snowball Wario, like, anymore. If we do, it'll be kind of a nice little thing. And have I been reading out the level the treasure names for this one? Yeah, we got the Jumbo Jump. Okay, cool, yeah. For a second I was like, I haven't been reading out the level treasure levels, had I? The treasure names, whatever. Words are hard. But this here is a UFO, an unidentified financial opportunity. I told you guys, I went buck wild with naming these. I had some fun. Just like I'm having fun trying to determine what the hell's going on in this picture. Am I right? Like, who even knows? I don't even knows. I don't knows anything. And hey, what did we learn this episode? That night's over, baby. It's daytime. So we're just going to enjoy the daytime in the previously eternal night of the eastern part. And I tried to stress the E in eternal since it's the east. The Easternal? Once again, I don't think that my mic's going to pick up the audio of me shrugging, but the episode's over, and I'll see you guys next time when we poke around more in the eastern part of the world now that we can enjoy daylight here.